Chapter 16. Naruto looked back at his uncle. "I can feel someone watching us. They are about a quarter of a mile away," he said, looking back into the tree line that was not too far from them. Michael nodded his head. "Yes, I picked up on the child myself," he said as he turned to look at the others that just arrived to hear what he had said. "So what do we do about them?" questioned Trixie as her wings vanished into her back, and walked over to Naruto to make sure the boy was doing okay. "For now, we just allow them to watch us. For I believe they are only the lookout for the one that we will be facing here soon," said Naruto, looking back at the others as the boat makes shore fall. They all just nod their heads and look at the other Jinin as they walk up to the shore. "You must learn not to be so loud while walking, little one," growled out Michael as he looked at the Uchiha of the group. The boy had pretty much splashed his way up to the shore, as Shika, Ino, and Kiba had already learned how to water walk and stood on top of the water looking at Sasuke and Sakura, who was getting ready to yell at the archangel that stood before her. "If I was you, I would keep that trap of yours shut, little girl," said Michael as a flaming sword appeared in his head as he pointed at the pinkette. Sakura just dumbly nodded her head at the blonde's request. Michael just smirked at this as the flaming sword vanished from where it had come. Kakashi looked on with fear as his father was breathing down his neck. "You will be training these children better while we are here," growled out Sakumo as he looked at his son with disappointment in his eyes. "My death, and the death of the girl. It broke him too much. If only he knew his one friend was still alive and was twisted by that bastard," he thought to himself as he made a fist. "We have eyes on us, so we will be coming with caution from here on out," said Maze as she looked at the others around her. All the adults nodded their heads as the genin looked at each other. Naruto saw the fear in Sakura's eyes and the unmistakable bloodlust that lingered in Sasuke's eyes. Kiba just shook his head as his partner jumped from his jacket and began sniffing the ground as Ruby and the other hellhounds appeared to aid the little puppy and maybe train him better. He was well trained, but there was still more room for the pup to grow. With Haku, the hidden boy's eyes widened as he heard that they had already found his location. "This isn't good. Not even the chakra feed mist isn't hiding me," he thought as an ice mirror appeared behind him as he quickly took a step behind himself and vanished into the mirror. In a clearing by a small lake, a large man with a sword that is about a half a foot shorter than himself stood waiting for his tool to return. He looked up as a mirror appeared before him. He growled out in his gravelly voice, "I was stopped by them, but I did see who is protecting the old man. We have a problem. 4 of his protectors are in the bingo book, as well an unknown man with golden hair, with wings, as a boy that appeared to look like the man as well had wings. As well, one of the women from the bingo book had wings," said Haku to his master. "Show me who was there," ordered the man. The boy pulled out the newest of the bingo books they had picked up off of a rock shinobi they had killed for the man's bounty. There on page 45 was the 2 women in the group. Trixie Namikaze, age unknown, for she appears as a child of 9 years old. But when pissed, takes an adult from that appears to be 19-21 years old. Skills: unknown, for no one lives after any encounters. Bounty: 50 million alive, 90 million dead. From the hidden stone, hidden mist, land of demons, and hidden cloud. Feel on sight, as she is always with her eldest sister Maze Namikaze. The money is not worth it. Maze Namikaze, age 21-23. Skills: unknown, but uses strange blades and other weapons. Bounty: 60 million alive, 100 million. From the hidden stone, hidden mist, land of demons, hidden sand, and hidden cloud. The hidden sand Kazakage wants her hand in marriage if brought to his village alive. Feel on sight, as she is not worth the money as well. She is always with her younger sister Trixie. As well, both women are the sisters to one Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash. Haku then flipped a few more pages to 65. Sakumo Namikaze, age 25, 30 years old. Skills: unknown beside being able to shapeshift into a werewolf or wolf-like beast. Bounty: 120 million. Dead: 150 million. Alive to enter into breeding program for Hidden Oto Village. Hidden Mist, Hidden Stone, Hidden Cloud, Hidden Sand, and Land of Demons and Land of Tea for disrespecting the Tea Lord. Kakashi Hatake, age 20 years old. Skills: Chidori, skill tracker, dog summons, skilled assassin. Bounty: 50,000 alive, 60,000 dead. The man looked up from the book. We could make a nice payday with just 3 of them. Kakashi will just be chump change, he said with a sigh. Yes, Zabuza-sama. But the unknowns are the ones that make me worry, though. Also, they outpower the 2 of us. For I do not believe my ice will be able to handle Sakumo as well as the 2 women, said Haku, as he looks up at his master. If I was you, I would listen the child, came a smooth but dark voice from behind the 2. There stood a woman with blonde hair as her eyes flashed crimson. My master Sakumo doesn't have time to play with you 2. As well, the troll you are working for will turn on you too. He has done that to the last shinobi that he had hired in the Land of Demons, she said with a grin on her face. There is a reason. He and the 2 women are allowed in the Land of Demons, she told them. You are? Questioned Zabuza as he looked at the woman. A smirk played at the corner of her mouth. I am a hellhound summons of my master as well as his lover, she told him as she took on her hellhound from. This made a shiver run down the large man's back. His large hand pushed the boy behind him. What the hell are you? Questioned Zabuza. Sakumo slowly stepped out of the mist. We are demons from hell, for we have a mission to protect the child of our master, he said as his eyes flashed amber. Leave here now, Haku, growled out. Zabuza. An ice mirror appeared behind the boy as Zabuza took his sword and stepped back along with his student. This was a fight he knew himself that he would not be able to handle, as this was a true demon. Border of the Land of Wave. 2 men stood in the tree line looking at the sea before them. So do we go now? Or do we just wait until the week is up? Asked a blue-skinned man as he glanced over to his left, to a shorter man standing next to him. We wait. I still don't like this job that Kakuzu got us, said the shorter male to the taller one. The taller male just nods his head to this. Fine, we can set up camp nearby, he said and turned to walk away. Hidden base. This isn't good, growled out Zabuza. Haku looks up to his master. That bastard has confirmed the gut feeling I have been getting for the past week we have been here. The way the bastard has been watching you mostly, said Zabuza as he looks to his tool. What do we do now? Questioned Haku. We watch and wait, said Zabuza as he walked over to his chair and sat down with his massive sword resting on his lap. Naruto and the others. Well, did you have fun? Questioned Maze as she and the group walked up behind Sakumo. Sakumo looked over his shoulder with a grin. Not really, but I have something else to keep me busy until we have issues, he tells her as his eyes move over to Kakashi as he just pales and looks away from his father. Chapter 17. Flashback. Lucifer sat before Kami with a smirk on his devilishly handsome face. British accent. Why, Kami, why are you so against me going back to Earth? He asked with his smirk on his face. Kami glares at the fallen archangel sitting before her. Lucifer, she hissed. It would be too much trouble having you back on Earth playing around like you have in the past, she told him as Yami just sat there nodding her head in agreement. Well, Kami, I came here to ask if I am able to return to Earth in a different way, said Lucifer, looking at the 2 women before him with confusion on their faces. What way would you be returning back to Earth, Lucifer? questioned Yami as she wanted to know what the Prince of Darkness was up to. Lucifer's eyes flashed crimson as he looked over at Yami, still with his devilish, charming smile. I would like to be reborn on Earth to live like a human with some of my power, of course. I don't want to be completely powerless, he said, looking at the two. But also, I would like to have Maze joining me if that wouldn't be too much trouble, he added on with a grin. End of flashback. Just a little flashback of Lucifer's meeting with the two goddesses. Itachi looked over at the ocean that kept him and his partner from crossing to the land of Wave. I'm getting a bad feeling about this mission, and if what I spotted with my crows. We don't want to get mixed up in of that man's mission, for it would mean the end for Kisame, as the fool would go head first, thinking his sword will protect him from death. But can't that blade protect him from a true demon? He wondered to himself as he turned to look over at the now snoring Kisame Konoha Hokage's office. A woman with crimson locks appeared before the Hokage in a ring of fire. The old man froze as he saw who it was. "Kushina-chan!" he whispered with fear lacing his voice. Kushina grinned at the old man with a scroll in her hands. "Hello, old man. I see they are still having you as a paper pusher," she told him in a teasing tone. He let out a sign. "If you are here, then it appears something is happening. For the dead just doesn't reappear in the land of the living out of the blue," he told her with another sigh. A smirk played across Kushina's lips. "Well, I do have a scroll to deliver for my husband Lucifer. He wants to enter a team into the up-and-coming Chunin exams," she told him as his eyes widened when she said her husband's name. He just dumbly nodded his head and took the scroll from the woman's hand. "I will be seeing you both in 6 months," he asked her. She just nodded her head as she vanished into another flash of flames as the office door opened. Land of Wave. "Where are the two I have hired to kill Zabuza?" growled out Gato as he looked at his men. "I'm not sure, boss. But one of the guards did say they saw 2 men in the forest on the land of Fireside, dressed in black robes with red clouds," said a silver-hair thug. Gato's eye began twitching. "Those are the 2 bastards that I hired to take care of the trouble, as it appears Zabuza has turned tail," he grumbled out as he looked at another man in his office. "Send a boat to pick those 2 up," he ordered as he looked down next to him at the poor girl chained to his desk. She was a traveler that had just arrived on the island that morning, and one of Gato's thugs found her and brought her to his boss, as she was beautiful with her brown eyes and raven locks and milk-white skin. "Now, my dear, we should get to know each other," said Gato with a disgusting smirk on his face, looking down at the young woman. Her brown eyes narrow on him as a smirk plays across her lips. "I would rather not," she said as the chains on her wrist began to metal as flames surround her fist. "I have to meet up with my little brother, and I don't have time for a fool like yourself," she hissed out at him, with the old fool turning pale and running away as he yells for his thugs to protect him from the she-devil before him. The large oak desk had flames licking at it, but it wasn't burning it, as it appeared the young woman was controlling the flames around her. "Take whatever you want and just leave," cried Gato as the young woman looked at the money on his desk. She shrugged her shoulders and opened the pack she had on her back and put the money in it and jumped out of the window. This wasn't her problem, and she had to get back to her little brother she hadn't seen in a while. Traveling the sea and the world had been fun, but it was also lonely without her family, and now it was time to return, for her little brother was now of age to become a shinobi, as he would always tell her he was going to become the greatest of them all. Chapter 18. After escaping from the troll, the girl walked into the forest, letting out a sigh, and found a lake with no one around. "I need to clean myself off," she said to herself as she took off the traveling robes she had put on, just leaving herself in a sports bra and boy shorts. She took out some soap and a change of clothing and walked into the water with the soap in hand. Not too far from her, Naruto, Kiba, Shikamaru, and Ino walk thought the forest, just chatting and laughing as Akamaru is playing with one of the younger hellhounds Ruby brought along with them. Yeah, this is insane. We are here, and Zabuza is on the island, but hasn't made a move, said Naruto. By the lake, the girl had finished her bath and was pulling on her shorts when she heard voice coming her way. She didn't think much, for they sounded young. She went back, pulling on her boy's short panties and pulling on her sports bra as she reached for her black shorts, pulling them on, when she saw two puppies run into the clearing. She is dressing in next to the lake. Negi, don't run off with Akamaru like that, came a boy's voice not too far from the tree line. The girl just looked up once more, putting on her 3 belts as one held up her pants, as the other held a strange weapon called a gun on it on her right hip, as the third one held a knife on her, the front of her right hip. The buckle that held the belts on her was a red spade with an A on the center of it, in black. She picked up the orange short sleeve button-up shirt, slipping it on, leaving it open, and picking up her orange hat with a pair of goggles on it with faces on the goggle lenses. The right one laughing, as the left one was crying. A boy about 15 years old breaks thought the brush and stops dead in his tracks as he sees the girl putting on black bracelets on her, both her wrist and a spiked bracelet, as well on her right wrist, and a red beaded necklace. Sitting next to her was a yellow pack with a pair of black boots. The girl looks up. She looked around 18 years old, maybe 19 years old. Her eyes widen when she sees the boy. Naru, she questioned, looking at him. Ace-chan, question. Naruto, looking at the girl before him. What are you doing here? Asked the now named Ace as 3 others come up walking behind the blonde. I'm on a mission. What are you doing here, sis? Question. Naruto, looking at the girl before him. Ace smirks. Well, I got a little bored and I figure I come and see you and the others. She tells him as he runs up to her, pulling her into a large hug. Kiba, Shika, and Ino look at each other confused as they have never seen this girl before in their lives. Naruto-kun, who's the girl? Questioned Ino as Shikamaru was trying to figure out how the two knew each other. They break their hug, looking back at the 3 standing behind him. Naruto smiles largely, rubbing his right hand behind his head. He chuckles nervously. This is my older sister, Ace, he told them. Ace smiles at them and bows to them. Hello, I am Portgas Namikaze D. Ace, she tells them as she stands back up, looking at everyone. Their jaws all drop open at hearing the girl's name. She didn't have Uzumaki in her name. Did the 4th Hokage have a daughter before her was with Naruto's mom? Ace knew what they were thinking, but it was best not to explain that she isn't of their world but was saved by Lucifer, and allowed a new life that she was robbed of in her past life. So Naru, how's everyone back home? Questioned Ace, as she grinned down at her little brother. In so many ways, Naru reminded her of her little brother from her past life. She hoped to see one day. They're all good. They're here and Uncle Michael is here, and Uncle Uriel was sent back to heaven, said Naruto as if it wasn't a big deal. I see. I'm glad to hear you're all safe and going well. It would be nice to see everyone, said Ace as she grins at him. Sure, we were just returning from training and heading back the client's home, said Naruto as the others nod their heads. Off in the shadows, Haku watched the 5 teens talk as he had a blush on his cheeks, as he had seen the girl naked, and this was the first time he'd ever seen a naked girl. I must return, he whispered to himself as he stepped back into a mirror, vanishing from sight. You felt that, Naru, whispered Ace as her eyes looked to where her peeping Tom had been watching her for a while now. Yeah, it was the same person that is with Zabuza, Naruto whispered back to his sister. Ace looked at her brother with wide eyes. You're going to be facing him? She questioned him as she didn't want the others to hear what they are talking about. Yeah, but he ran off when he faced a true demon, Naruto told her as she grinned. Damn old werewolf, Ace said with a chuckle. Well, let's go see the others. Maybe I'll aid in this mission, she said, turning to the others. Let's go, she told them as they nodded their heads, following the strange girl claiming to be Naruto's older sister. Lake in front of Tazuna's house. Sakumo growled at Kakashi. How in the hell are they not at the same level as their teammate Kiba? He demanded, wanting to know what the hell his son had been doing. Well, I have been ordered to focus mainly on Sasuke, and Sakura doesn't really want to train. All she wants to do is watch Sasuke, said Kakashi with fear as Sasuke and Sakura fell down a tree in front of the lake. That isn't a good excuse. You have been lazy, boy, growled out Sakumo as his eyes turned amber as he was ready to bite his son's head off. You need to get your head out of your ass, for you owe that fucking Uchiha nothing. The bastard is still alive, said in a low growl, looking at his shocked and dazed son standing before him. What do you mean he is still alive? I saw half his head being crushed by a massive stone, said Kakashi, as he had the look of horror on his face. Sakumo glared at Kakashi. He is still alive, for his cursed soul never came to hell where I was having fun playing with all the dead Uchihas, he told Kakashi. Kakashi's single eye widened with fear and shock. Then why didn't he ever return home? He asked just above a whisper. Because he has become Madara's puppet, and is now wanting to kill Naruto and others like him, growled out Sakumo, looking down at his son with disappointment-filled eyes. Kakashi fell to his knees from the truth of what his friend had become. Now he had a lot to thinking about. He looked over at Sasuke and Sakura. Slowly, he let out a sigh. Sasuke, Sakura, no more screwing around. We are going to train for real. But you two still need to learn the basics of working as a team, as that will be your downfall, said Kakashi as he pulled himself back to his feet, looking at her father with his head down. Father, I am sorry, he said just above a whisper for Sakumo to hear, as he turned away and walked up to his two misfit students. But, Sensei, we do train, and who cares about Kiba? Whined Sakura, not liking whatever that bastard had told her sensei. Before she could open her mouth once more to whine and bitch, Kakashi slapped her across the face. This is what Naruto and the others saw as they walked up. Genin, Sakura, Haruno, you will not question my orders. As for that, I want you to run 50 laps around the lake, starting now, said Kakashi with an ice-cold glare in his single eye. Sasuke just smirked at Sakura getting slapped. Kakashi's icy gaze didn't miss how the Uchiha had just behaved. Sasuke, you will be joining Sakura on this run, but I want you to do a 100 laps, he told the spoiled, stuck-up boy. Sakumo turned around grinning as he was finally happy. His son grew a set of balls. But he froze when he saw Ace. My little wild ace of spades has returned, said Sakumo as the others heard him call out a new name from inside the house. Ace grinned like mad seeing her uncle. Uncle Wolfley, she said as she ran up to him and jumped into his arms. So are you done playing pirate? Asked Sakumo, looking down at the girl in his arms. For now, maybe I can play shinobi for a while. For all the pirate crews out there suck and I kicked all their asses, said Ace with a large grin on her face and a twinkle in her eye that would make Maze proud. Sakumo laughed. Well, I could take you on as my personal student if you like. Or you're already Jonin level, he said with a smirk on his face as Kakashi paled, looking at the girl in his father's arms. Ace sees the silver hair man and smirks. I see you have found your cub. Have you fixed him yet? She asked as she'd been waiting for that day. A little. He is finally training his students. But you know Maze, Trixie, and myself have stolen one of his students to make sure he will make off his team alive, said Sakumo loud enough for Kakashi to hear as he didn't care. As a demon, he held no shame anymore. Fuck what anyone thought of him. Ace grinned back at him. Good. Sugarcoating things just makes more of a mess for everyone and everything, she said with a wink at her uncle. By the way, I had someone peep on my while I was bathing in a lake, where I met Naru and the others, Ace whispered as Sakumo's eyes widened. I'll be hunting tonight for a little bastard, Sakumo growled out as his eyes turned amber. Ace laughed. Don't worry about it. The one you want to kill is Gato. The bastard tried raping me, but I shocked him though, she told him as she held up her finger as it lit up a flame. Sakumo grinned. Yes, I will be taking his head tonight now, he said as he was growing in size. Maze walked up next to Sakumo. It looks like someone did something to his little Ace. She laughed, knowing that look in the demon's eye. Ace giggled. You could say that. But my Auntie Maze will be joining him as well, for she doesn't like a pedo trying to touch her little Ace-chan either, she said in a sweet tone. Maze cracked her knuckles. Trixie, get my knives. We are gutting a pig tonight, she called out to her little sister. Trixie giggled as she threw the strange knives at the demoness standing next to Sakumo. Whose head we are taking and how much fun will I be having as bait? She questioned the two. Gato, hissed out both Sakumo and Maze. Everyone just looked at two as dark auras coming off of the two. All right, said Trixie as she turned into a young girl about 13 years old. How can an angel so pure be a demon? Questioned Michael from the steps of the house. For the angel before me was murder, for whose blood flows through her vein, said Trixie with a dark smirk on her face. Whatever. You would have made a powerful archangel if only you didn't want to follow my brother to hell like a fool, said Michael. You'll never utterly understand, Michael. But maybe one day you will find the love your father wants you to have, said Trixie with a shit-eating grin on her face. Michael rolled his eyes and looked at Ace. Girl, be ready to train in the morning with the others, he ordered, walking off into the forest around the house. Well, isn't he a pleasant one? Said Ace as she rolled her own eyes at the man walking off. That is an understatement, said Naruto as he fell to the ground on his back. He is a slave driver, he said dramatically, as the others laughed at his antics. 19. Chapter 19. The night was blacker than black, as there was no moon in the sky, for it was a new moon. A massive wolf tour, though the forest leading towards Gato's compound. As a young girl rode on his back as a woman ran alongside them. Earlier that day, Haku returned to his master, Zabuza-sama. He panted out as he rushed into the room, as he followed after the group of kids and heard what the girl he peeped on talked about with the demon with... What is it? Growled out Zabuza as he looks up annoyed from his bed, looking up from his student. Haku falls to the floor before his master. Gato has screwed up and had taken prisoner and tried raping a girl that is related to Sakumo, he said with panic lacing his voice. Forgetting his near-paralyzed state, Zabuza shot up straight, looking at the boy sitting before him on the floor. What did you just say? He demanded. I was near Gato's compound gathering herbs and other things I would need for your treatment, when I saw flames escape his office window, and a girl with long raven locks come flying out of the window surrounded in flames. She jumps down and takes off running laughing, and I follow her to a lake where she cleans up and meets up with the blonde-haired kid that was with Sakumo. I followed them to the bridge builder's house and listened to them. Gato is going to die tonight, said Haku, looking up at Zabuza with fear in his eyes. We have to leave, said Zabuza as he was trying to move. If I was you, I would lay back down, said a voice from the doorway. They looked to the doorway to see a man that appeared to look like the late Fourth Hawkage. Who are you? Demanded Zabuza as he was moving for his sword. Michael smirks, looking at the man that could hardly move, and the boy that looked at him with pure fear. I am the Archangel Michael, the twin brother of Lucifer, or as you know him as Minato Namikaze in this world, he said, walking over to them as he sat down in the large chair across from where Zabuza normal sat down at. Zabuza narrowed his black eyes at him. What do you want of me, Archangel? He questioned, looking at the man before him. Michael smirked once more. I am seeking person guards to protect my nephew once I am gone from this world, for I have duties I must attend to in Silver City. Duties that I cannot ignore to spend my days here until my nephew can join his father and mother in hell. he said, looking at the man that fell back into his bed. So, you are here to recruit myself and the boy to take over guard duty over the blonde of the group? Questioned Zabuza, as there was only one genin in all the brats that looked like the man that sat across from him. You could say that, for you are a demon. You would become part of my nephew's army once he takes his place alongside his father. But the boy that is beside you, he would go to Silver City once he dies. For that is where all pure soul go when they die. For not everyone can be a demon like yourself. Demon of the bloody mist, said Michael with a smirk. That is when it clicked at what the man was saying to him. So it is true what you are saying. You are not of this world. Question. Zabuza looking at Michael. I have never been of this world. I was born in heaven to serve my father. But my younger brother Lucifer couldn't do as he was told, and had to have his way, and now rules over hell. But at times he leaves hell and goes on vacation in the human world and plays with you little humans like his person little toys. This lifetime it was a little different. He found love in the crimson hair woman, and had a child. A child that could end this world, or lead it to greatness. But that all depends on the boy and whose he surrounds himself with and ally himself with as well. Said Michael, stand up. I will give you until the day the bridge is finished to think it over, he said, leaving the hideout. Gatto's compound. Men with swords and other weapons walk around the walls, looking out for any type of trouble. As a young girl with long green hair and silver eyes come wandering out of the forest crying. Mommy, she whimpers. A man near the gate looks over to the tree line to see the girl walking his way. Hey, there is a girl coming our way, he told the other fool next to him. The other guy looks up from what he was doing. Let me call someone to come and get her, he said, walking inside the gated walls. Hey, we need someone to come get a kid. She might be the one that got away earlier, he called out as several thugs come running out. One had a bucket of water, not sure if they would need it or not. She will be a nice gift for the boss, for she doesn't look like the girl that got away earlier, said one of the other thugs as they surround her. Mommy, cried the little girl looking at the guys. Ah, come on, sweetie. Your mommy might be inside, said an orange-haired thug with a nasty smirk on his face. Okay, she said, rubbing her eyes as she looks over her shoulder to her two friends weighing in the shadows. They needed her to get past the gates before they attacked, as they needed her in the inside before they attacked.